Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Bayou Time. I'm Martin Faust. Joining us is the Public Information Officer for Troop C, Trooper Ross Brennan. Mr. Trooper, always good to see you.
Same to you, sir.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Y'all had a good thing going for a while, and unfortunately in St. James Parish, a fatality to report on, and fairly young man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this morning, April 1st, around 3 o'clock, the troopers with Troop C, we responded to a single vehicle fatal crash on Highway 18, just a little west of Highway 20 out in the Vashry area. Our troopers' findings from that crash was a 35-year-old Willie Pierre from Convent was traveling west on Highway 18 in a 2020 Chevrolet Silverado. As he was going through a right curve, for reasons we're still determining, he traveled across the center line off the roadway to the left and struck a tree. Mr. Pierre in that crash was not wearing a seatbelt, so he was seriously injured in that collision. He was transported to a nearby hospital where he later succumbed to his injuries while at the hospital. So as far as this year goes, this is our sixth fatal crash we've investigated, resulting in our sixth death. So as you said, we had a good little streak going in March. I think the only fatal crash that we had during that time was that missing Assumption driver, but that crash happened earlier in the month of March. So again, hopefully we can try to keep these stats down for the remaining of our year.
Was that big old curve that you see on Highway 18, or?
Yeah, it was
they
just
got
a
a few
little
big
west.
curves
Yeah,
on
that
the
road's
road.
pretty windy, and definitely got to pay attention when traveling down it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, and let me ask you, switch gears from that. We appreciate you coming and giving us that information, but also let's talk about the Go for Kids, because that's a nice event. We don't always want to talk about the negative things. Y'all do a lot of great things. Talk about that a little bit.
So Go for Kids is a nonprofit group. What they do is they create these, they call them go bags, and they're filled with items that a kid might need when they find themselves in a living situation that's abruptly changed. So typically like a foster care situation where they're removed from a house in the middle of the night and have to go into a foster home. A lot of times these kids, they don't have anything other than clothes on their back. So within these bags, they have toiletries, clothing items, bedding, some snacks, words of encouragement from other kids, some type of like toys, stuff like that, to kind of give them a little bit of comfort. So all across the state, this organization, Go for Kids, they take and they donate these bags to the different troop areas. And so what we do in Troop C is that I like to go to different agencies and donate them. So Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office got some, Lafourche Sheriff's Office, Houma PD.
Yeah, let's bring a picture up.
Thibodeau PD most recently, so this was earlier today.
They with the cheap bronze rank.
Yep.
And it looks like y'all both enjoying the moment. And that's what it's all about, because we're so blessed as individuals. Sometimes we forget that youngsters out there are in a whole different predicament. So I can only imagine what they're going through when they're having to make that trek, and to get something with some encouragement and just necessities. It helps. It's not the end of the road, but it helps.
Most definitely. I mean, these poor kids, they don't have a choice to be in those situations a lot of times. So maybe giving them a little bit of comfort, a little bit of stability especially that first night going into that new home, it might help them out with the process in the long run. But again, these bags kind of just help getting them in that transition. It's definitely very grateful to have this organization donate these bags. So thousands of them go out across the troop. So we had 25 come through. And state police, we don't really, I guess, deal so much with the kids in the foster situation. So that's why I like to give them out to the different agencies that are a little bit more hands-on and experience that type of stuff more so than what we would with our agency.
But yeah, and so you connecting, like networking.
Most definitely, yeah. Get it to the right hands, to the right people.
That's good of y'all to do that. Y'all got a new commander.
We do. So this past week, we had our new captain assume his role at Troop C, Captain Kevin Resweber. So he replaced Captain Lanny Bajeron, who is now the commander of Troop A in Baton Rouge. So Captain Resweber, he's a local boy. He's from down south in Grand Isle area. So he's our new troop commander. His number 2 person, the XO at the troop, is Lieutenant Tracy Plaison. So we have new leadership at the troop level. We're very excited to see what the future holds, and hopefully we'll have them on and kind of introduce them to the community coming up.
Well, Grand Isle seems to be a hot spot for the commanders, right?
It is. So the troop captains from Grand Isle are inside the entire agency. Our chief of staff, Lieutenant Colonel Frank Bason, he's from Grand Isle area. So we got some local people.
And he did such a great job with Troop C.
He did.
You can't help it but like, Frank Bason. So
Most definitely.
let's make sure the new one coming up, it's the same way. But when y'all get a new person on board, it's not just a cold shock to y'all, but there's sort of a process, isn't there?
There's a interview process. People have to be eligible, so we have to take our promotional exam. So first start off there, you have to have at least a passing score on the promotional exam to even be considered. And of course, they do all the interviews and stuff like that. And so, with our new colonel and also new governor, they're looking for people who are experienced leaders who have the traits and past history that show that they can lead. And so, under the new slogan, "One Team, One Dream, One Louisiana," so that's kind of the governor's and the new colonel's vision for the future. But it's a pretty strenuous process to become the captain. So it's always good to have somebody local who, kind of knows the area, knows the people a little bit better.
And I like the fact, real quick, that the governor puts his trust. He loves law enforcement. He's law enforcement. So, it's a good process. But I thank you for everything you do, too. You're always coming and giving us information, and we appreciate it. And good to see you again on the tragic leadoff, but keep up the great work.
Yes, sir. Try.
All right, there you have it. PIO Ross Brennan with the State Police Troop C. We'll take a short break. We have a lot more here on Bayou Time. Don't forget, go to the apps. A lot of people watching us on the apps now, and they're readily available, and you can pick it up and tune in. We'll see you around the corner. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality.